That's how we roll.
That's how I roll. You
Oh,
raised. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
yeah.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome into the Bits and Pieces podcast, episode 12. And as always, I am joined by the lovely Pizza Beth
Hello.
and the even lovelier 3D Show.
Hello. I was
How we
about
doing?
that.
How we doing, everyone? How's it going? How's
Not too bad.
yeah?
Not too
Cool.
bad.
Good, good,
I
good, good.
I realized just before we start, the last couple of episodes, I was like waving to the camera and not saying hi. Then I realized it's a podcast, and some people don't know I'm doing that. So
It's
I'm currently waving.
visual.
Hello.
Yes, it's like visual. Yeah,
I forget.
visual jokes.
I forget.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
it is easier to forget that because you do like naturally like you'll play up to the camera if you like visual jokes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that. You do
Yeah.
things like that. We all do it. I do it sometimes, and without even
Yeah.
realize. And it's just always that awkwardness of like when it is just audible and there's dead air. That's when it becomes a little bit
Yeah.
just
But
there's too much silenceness. But sometimes if there's a visual thing, people can see why there's silent. So yeah,
yeah.
we all do it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. So as always, we are going to be doing a spotlights each. We've all got a game that we're going to choose to talk about, and it could be a game that we've played just recently, or it could even be a game that we've played in the past. As in my case tonight, I'm going to be talking about stories, The Path of Destinies, which actually came out quite some time ago. Actually, 2016 it came out. Then we got some news. Naturally, we'll probably be jumping onto that news that as the big news of all is the big sort of takeover, I think it is, from Microsoft, sort of buying out the Call of Duty. Well, it's not just Call of Duty, it's Activision and Blizzard, isn't it? Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah. Activision.
So we're going to be talking about that. There, we'll probably look at some other bits and pieces along the way because it's bits and pieces, so that's why we do that.
Yeah.
And then I think Beth's got a joke of the week as well. So that, as always, it's a similar sort of format. And I also want to just ask if anyone out there, if you would like to be part of the Bits and Pieces, like a guest appearance on the Bits and Pieces podcast, let any of us know. You can at me or at Beth at 3D. We've all got our own Twitter feeds anyway. Or even if you whisper in Twitch, you can send whispers as a little private messages. Whisperers. I'll be glad to have you on. I can announce. I do believe, and he's in my chat right now, we will have Weird Jelly Ogre as our first guest on the next week's show. So coming to that next week, we will have our very first guest. So yeah, we're very excited by that, and so yeah, we do appreciate Jelly for joining us on that one next time. But yeah, if you want to follow the footsteps of Jelly, then feel free to message us. But let's get started. Then who wants to go first? Anyone?
I'll go first.
Yay, Beth.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm talking about Not for Broadcast. I'm quite passionate about this game. I've been supporting it since it got released in early access in 2020. So let me just get my notes up real quick. Excusez-moi. Right. So, to celebrate Not for Broadcast come out of early access and having a full release, I thought I'd talk about it today and encourage you to buy it because it's an excellent game. So it will be coming out full release on the 25th of January. I think it's about 15 $9.99, maybe more. I'll have to double check that. So yeah, so this game is made by indie developer Not Games and
Mm.
published by Tiny Build. Um, it's quite a story-rich game, and it's also full motion video. So it's not traditional, graphics. It's like a full motion video game. Um, it's also a simulator. It's like a propaganda kind of simulator game. And basically, you play as Alex Winston, who is a studio director of the news station called NNN, which stands for National Nightly News. Very, very original. um, so basically, you're behind the scenes of this, and basically, you watch the events unfold live from cameras in different areas and such. And basically, you have to decide what to cut, what to keep, and um, you you know you have to make sure that
Good evening. This is
you
the
keep the right bits, and if you don't keep the right bits, the audience gets quite mad with you. And if you lose too many viewers, you fail the level. So basically, the last time I played this was about 20? No, Uh, I think early 2021, I think, and it's been quite slow because of the COVID. They haven't managed to film all the scenes and all the levels they want to, but luckily now it's obviously they're done and they're ready to release it, which I'm very very excited about. Um, so yeah, I'll just tell you a little bit about it. So, when you jump into the game, at first, just it eases you into the controls because the controls can be quite confusing at times. So, there's multiple screens that you can look through. There's an audio gauge you can adjust. There's a bleep button, so if they swear, you bleep it out, which is pretty cool. You also play adverts. And you also have to there's like this little mini game you play while you're cutting between scenes. You have to avoid interference, which is you use your I think it's your mouse wheel, and you have to move your mouse wheel to avoid interference and stuff. But if you do get too much interference, you lose viewership. But yeah, so the tutorial is pretty simple. It eases you into it. I will say that it has been some reviews and quotes and stuff have said it's like Papers, Please, which I can understand because it's kind of like you're stationary and you're clicking things. I can see that, but the gameplay is completely it's not really the same. You're not stamping stuff and all that. Um, it's also a comedy, which let me tell you, it is really funny. It's got some great characters in it. Um, it's got some great sequences, like great events that happen. There's drunk people, there's naked people, there's protests, um, there's yeah, it's fantastic. And um one of my favorite I'll tell you a little bit about my favorite one. It's basically you're this weird tournament. There's two what would you call it? Players, and I can't remember what they're actually doing. I think they're slapping each other. I can't remember. But anyway, and basically these people they're naked, they come running on, and you have to cut to avoid them so the audience doesn't see the naked people and lose viewership. And it's just it gets so hectic so fast that sometimes it could be overwhelming, but it's super fun just to like just watch it is like amazing, but to play it as well and watch it, it's just like it's a great package and it's really fun. Um, Visually, it's pretty good, you know, like it's the footage, like the people are real, but the studio is uh uh 3D animated. Like it's not. I think it'd be pretty cool if it was like all real. Like I don't know if you get what I mean, but
Yeah, I get what you
um
mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So your
yeah,
character was like a character like them in the game, rather than
yeah,
being first person view sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, in a way. Um, Also another favorite of mine is there's these sequences where these people come in and they sing a song, like there's like rap song, pop songs, and it's all their own stuff, so you won't get copyright or anything. Like it's really cool how they made up their own songs and stuff, and they're catchy. They are so catchy.
Mm.
So if you play this game, right, just be prepared to have their songs stuck in your head. It's pretty cool, but you have to like cut to the beat, you know, and it's really fun to do that. Um, I will say also the acting is amazing. The dialogue delivery is amazing. There's this one bit where Jeremy, the main one of the main anchors, they have to say this really long scientist's name, and it's so funny to hear them go through it. And there's also a blooper of them trying to say it, and it's fantastic. If I get the chance, I'll send a link, and it's really funny. But yeah, the actors are incredible. They have completely, you know, understood their assignment, their characters, and the quality of it is just amazing. Um, I feel like I'm not going to give this game enough justice because I just feel like it's a gem, like a real it's a gem, and yeah, I just think it's worth a play, and it's worth every penny that you spend. I will say that I love that. I just love it. I mean, I can't. I'm gonna stream it on the 25th when it fully comes out. So um, I'm excited for that. Uh, but I was gonna go through, like, any dislikes that I had about it, and honestly, I don't. Like, I don't really have that many dislikes about it. It's like, I like the gameplay, I like the characters, I like the comedy, I like everything about it, really, and, I recommend anyone to play it. If you have any questions, let me know, but that is my thing. Uh, Play it, it's awesome. It's
It,
awesome.
it
Yeah.
does look good. Does look good.
I actually seen. I think Jacksepticeye played this when this was in early access back in
Yep,
2020,
yep,
and I watched it and I was like, "This game looks good. I'm going to keep it on my radar." And then conveniently, completely forgot about it
mm,
until you mentioned it like before we started, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that game."
yeah,
And
yeah.
it is there isn't. And let's be honest, there isn't many comedy games out there these
No,
days,
it's
and I
totally
think
unique.
it is a unique experience, definitely worth buying. In actual fact, you've actually convinced me to buy it. So as soon as I've got some spare money, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick this up.
Wink,
It,
wink. Keymaker.
yeah. But
Keymaker's good.
the only other
'Cause
comedy game I can think of is Monkey Island. Really,
yeah,
in the last sort of 10 years or so. I know we had Sam and Max as well, but this is probably the most unique game out there in terms of
yeah,
visuals and how it's done. And when I watched Jacksepticeye play, I laughed my ass off. So it does look incredibly good, and hats off to the development team because recording live action for a video game is probably one of the hardest things to do, especially when you've got to code all that video in. And I've done coding, so I know how difficult it is to code sort of lines of code in that sort of environment. 'Cause it's similar to coding a website in terms of whatever sort of CC plus language you're using, but it can be incredibly difficult. So hats off to these guys who have made a complete game out of it. And I like Beth says, I highly recommend you go and pick this up. I've not played it personally, but I've seen enough of it to know that it's definitely worth um, buying. I just forgot all about it because life and other games we play. Like, I
yeah.
don't tend to buy early access games these days
Oh, fair
because
enough. Yeah,
usually early access doesn't always mean it's good. But this one was, and I should have picked it up when it was out. I kind of regret not playing it now, but I'm going to play it as soon as you're finished playing with it, Beth.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
it's
going to
fun.
do that.
Yeah, no,
Also, I will. Oh, sorry.
no,
Go on.
God.
Oh,
Please
words in.
continue.
I'm so passionate about it.
Go,
I'm
go,
sorry.
go on, Beef. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say that when I was streaming it, one of the actors came into my stream and was talking to me about it, and it was so
Awesome.
cool.
Oh, well, that was even
That's
better
all.
than what I was going to say. So that's fine.
That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
No,
That's all.
I've just added it to my wish list, but it's one of those games that, like 3D was saying, I also see. I think I've seen you play it, but I've also seen Jack, Septic Eye play it as well, and yeah, it's one of those things that you go, oh yeah, I must remember to look that up, but then life gets in the way, and you're always gonna, you can always have that happen when games come along and they're little bits of a gem of a game, you just miss it. So any opportunity now, I always try to make sure I hit, at least get it on my wish list. So I've got it there at least. It's there.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but yeah. So yeah, no, it does look good, and it does look fun to play.
Very funny. Very funny.
Yeah. So I will definitely, like I said, I've added that. 1949.
Oh, 1940.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
about to say that. Yeah,
1949.
Yeah, that's great.
1949.
That's definitely worth
Yeah.
it. It's high quality. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, good.
Let's be done.
Actually,
Who was next?
who's next? Right. Shall I do this? Shall I do the next one?
You go.
I'll do the next one. Right. So the game I want to talk about is, like I said at the start, it's a fairly old one actually. Again, you know, it's all about games that we've played that we've enjoyed, and I enjoyed this one. Stories. The Path of Destinies is an action role-playing game. It's developed by Spearhead Games. It was released on came out on 12th of April 2016 actually, so it is quite old. It was on Xbox, PlayStation 4. It came on Xbox on March, so it came out a little bit later for Xbox. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter now because it's now available on pretty much everything apart from like older, newer stuff. Why did I pick this game? Because I just loved its aesthetics, the visual styles of it, the narration of it is really good. You play as a character called Ronaldo, who is a fox. All of the characters in the game are based on animals, and so you go against, I think there's enemies, there are crows, there's the emperor is a toad, I think, which is kind of interesting. Like it's kind of got that. And there's a love interest, which is a cat. So there's a female cat, you know. So yeah, basically, it's an action role play game. You play as Ronaldo across a landscape, and you use grappling hook, which you get kind of early on. So you can hook going across these, because the whole thing's set in like a cloud city sort of thing. So it's, you know, if you get put, you can yeet things off the platforms as well, which is quite fun to do. But the wittiness is in the writing. It's brilliant. It's one of the, and you play the fox, like I said, Ronaldo. You come across a book, and the book it's like one of those. So you play with inside the book. The book reminds me of, and how I compare it to is, does anyone remember, and I remember being told this as a kid, those adventure stories where you get to a page and it'll say, now, if you take the left path, you go to page 62. And if you take the right path, go to page 26.
Yeah.
And those adventure
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
this is what this game is. It's one of those.
Oh, nice.
It's one of those books. So basically, there's 24 endings. I've done one twice. I've done one twice. It's kind of the way to work out it's very methodical, the way you work out the ending. To try and get the best ending. 24 endings. But it's stacked in 4, so it's like 4. You know, 16 and all that. You know, you got to think. Well, pathways. Which pathway did I go? The combinations are. Like I said, it's mad how they've put this together. It's really great. So it is kind of a choice matters as well. So you've got that involved. But yeah, I just really loved it. Your sword that you get given at the start is also a key which opens a series of doors throughout. So once you when you start off, you get given just the main sword, and that will open one type of door. When you progress further on, you find chests throughout the world. They also give you little orbs. You collect those, and those orbs can be used as currency to help build your sword, which will open other doors. So you'll come across these other doors that you can't get into just yet. But once you've completed chapter, because it is obviously story, so it's done in chapters. Once you've done one chapter, you can actually go back, but you keep everything you've gained up to that point. Plus,
cool. Okay.
yeah, so you'll actually go back, you can start again, and that's where it gives you so you get to choose those other pathways. So as I did like one chapter just recently, just to remind myself of the game, I did one set of decisions. So I went down the right path. I chose. I think there's an option it's out of four options, and you got to choose which one you want to do, and then you get to the end of the chapter, and then you can progress on, or you can go back. And that's the way I've played it. Was I just progressed on. I wanted to find out how the game looked just by getting one ending, and it took me quite some time to get there. I would say it's got quite a lengthy if you want to replayability to it, because of the amount of, like I said, there's 24 endings, so you've got to,
It's a lot of hours.
that's a lot of hours if you want to pull it in. Now the combat system is very much on a linear side of things, towards like Arkham, Batman Arkham, the way in which you play it. Like so you'll come across now and again crows, which are like the main sort of enemies, and as you're fighting them, I played this first of all with a controller, and then I again just recently with the mouse and keyboard. When you start off, you do start off just using the mouse, and it's pretty much the controls for everything. I think you have to walk around like using the keyboard, but otherwise your combat is left click, right click, hold to left click, pull back to left to dodge. It's so you could pretty much. I was drinking tea whilst playing it, because I can do like that first part quite easily. Then you'll get given the grappling. When you start unlocking things throughout the game, you'll unlock I think parry, dodge. I think there's a dash button. So you do need to use you will have to put the cup of tea down and use your your left hand, to sort of use.
Yep.
I think there's a sprint or dash. I think it's dash. Yeah, it's got a very steampunk as well. I must admit. I must have mentioned as well. It's very steampunk themes as well, like the design of it. It's third person. It's like a 2.5D sort of look down. So when you're looking down on everything, you're seeing the landscape ahead of you. So it is kind of a third person view as well. I really enjoyed it, but it's the narrator that really sells it for me. The narrator in this is, I think it's told through Ronaldo. I think he tells the story, because how you come about getting the book. I wanted to find. Yeah, so the protagonist is Ronaldo, a fox corsair who reluctantly he had retired from his adventures because his mother's dying wish that he didn't want to, wanted him to stop his adventures, but then there's something happens, and then he has to go on this last adventure. But he tries to his hometown is attacked by a muscle-bound ravens sent by the emperor, and it's the emperor, like I said, he's like the big boss, he's like the toad, and I think it's his stepdaughter that becomes like the love interest. She's the cat, so she, why can't a cat and a fox, get it on? Why not? I mean, there's a toad who's in charge, so anything's possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he was, so this toad, he basically tries to destroy your your town, so you have to go on this adventure. So the only
Dang.
survivor to escape the town is Ronaldo, and you travel around on an airship, go from island to island in the skies, and Ronaldo reads the book that this is the book that you playing in, where he joins the rebellion against the emperor, basically as a freelance vanguard. Yeah, you just got to try and battle your way through. There are some puzzle aspects to it where you'll use the grappling hook to try and create pathways. So that, for instance, there's a pathway which has a corner, but it's in the wrong position, and lining up two corners will get you either one pathway going to the left, and then you've got to quickly change. There's about 4 or 5 different corners. If you try and get angling them differently, obviously you won't create a pathway, so you have to try and use your grappling hook occasionally to do things like that. There's also sentries, or like these robots, which if you're seen within their vision, I think there's in their provisional vision, a word that I can't say.
It's fair enough.
But if you get caught in their, basically, if you get caught in their vision, you will get zapped. There is ways of losing health. Obviously, there is combat. That's another way of losing health, because you need to, by getting zapped by the robots, they will try to stop you from going through certain areas, but you've got to do it as a timing thing. So there's a timing, wait for their pattern, when sentries are moving up and down, there's left and right, there's going up and down, but they stop, turn, and then go back down the way they came. So you've got to time it just right. There's that along the way. Again, you're going to get jumped by these ravens. They're going to try and stop you. You've also got to try and find chests throughout the land that they help upgrade your weapon, as I said, so you can go back and unlock some of those other doors. There's workbenches that you need to go to upgrade your sword and apply certain skills to allow you to progress forward. You could probably do it quite easily. The first run, I probably did it maybe in about 8 hours or so, maybe less, 6 to 8 hours. You could probably easily do it. Again, the whole, that's just going through the game once. But then there's a lot, like I said, there's so many. I just went through the default settings and the default doors just by not upgrading all of my sword. So you could quite easily get to an ending and you'll discover an ending, but to get the main ending you need to try and do a combination of 4x4x4, and it's that makes it a little bit more trickier. I would suggest maybe looking up a guide to do that if you so wished. I obviously learn as you go, learn as you progress. Like I said, the combat's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. It is pretty much one-handed combat in terms of you as the player, like to parry and defend, to put up blocks and to use the sword in various combinations. You're just using the same sort of buttons over and over again. And then obviously you introduce with the dash button, so you can dash to move out of the way. To gain health, there are trees that are, when you hit the trees, they drop apples. So those apples, once you lose all of your health, you basically start again. But it's visually, it is amazing. There is, like I said, there is narration now. It's sometimes Ronaldo will think things out loud. Like I was heading towards a workbench and he goes, I don't think we've got enough orbs, but we could try and find out, if you want to. So you go to just as you approach the workbench, and it's like, okay, you were right. I didn't need to go there. I didn't have enough yet. So it kind of breaks the fall a little bit, but not completely. Yeah. So it does sort of tell you what to do quite early on, and then once you've picked up the basics, that's it. You're on your own from there on. And like I said, the narrator in this is just amazing. Some of the lines in this, the writing in this is absolutely brilliant. I love the writing in this. I love the comedy to it. It's just a fun game to play. If you get a chance to play it, like I said, it is an old game. Yes, it is. It is like an old game now. It is 2016. just wanted to mention it because it is a game that I played and completed once, but there's still more to look for.
Oh.
But yeah, I loved it. It was great. If it isn't already on your wish list, add it, because
Yeah.
I would say you would enjoy it, as I did.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds awesome. Because I
it
like
graphically.
it. Does
Yeah, sorry.
sorry? No, I was just gonna say, does the narrator remind you of Stanley Parable? Like, is it that kind of thing, or is it kind of different from that?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, it's got.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, I think I would say probably does actually. Yeah.
well,
To answer,
cool. I like that. I like that.
it's got that sort of like, and our hero goes on to the next, extra, and it is that outside, what do you call it, the inner monologue, as
Oh
some of
yeah,
that, so there's that, because
very
like the
cool.
narrator does all the voices for everybody. He does
Oh,
well,
cool.
so he's actually telling you it's like listening to an audible book
Yeah.
with that, with it's the one person doing all the voices. So
Okay.
that's what I liked about it as well. It just had that, because you are like, as you can see if you're watching from the trailer,
Yeah.
you're inside a book. So every page is every chapter is a new quest.
Okay.
So that's what
That's
I liked about it.
awesome. Okay. Cool.
Awesome
Sweet.
stuff. I know nothing about that game, so I can't comment on it. So it sounds interesting. It sounds fun. It's probably not even that expensive now, considering it's a few years old.
It's 10.99.
That's too
$10.99.
bad, is it? Tenner.
I think that's for the because it's a remastered
It is,
one.
yeah. There is a remastered.
Ooh,
The store,
remastered.
Yeah.
the Spearhead Games. There's a game I think they're going to bring out soon, or if it isn't already out. Omen Sight. It's kind of like a
Okay.
Curse of the Dead Gods. It's got that kind of look to it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, I think that'd be one to look out for.
Mhm.
I've added that on my Oh no, it's already out. Sorry, so I might have to get that. Sorry, that came out 2018. So yeah, that's already
Okay.
out.
What was
Yes,
that called again? Sorry.
the one that is out already, Omen Sight. Again, it's
Omen Sight.
yeah.
Okay.
So Omen Sight, that was one of their other games. Yeah, they've got a couple of games that are in their
Okay.
repertoire. Yeah, they look good. They look fun.
Yeah, definitely. Be
Worth
checking
keeping
that one
an eye
out
on.
too.
Worth looking at.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
No, it's good. Like I said, it's old games sometimes have to come out of the woodwork now and again.
There's so many games. There's too many games. You could be talking about old games for decades. Just so many
Yeah.
games get missed.
Oh yeah,
The market is just flooded with so much stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So many good games just go under the radar because of everything else gets hyped and advertised, and the smaller indie games don't get enough attention. And that definitely sounds like one to check out underneath the diamond in the rough, so to speak, in
Mhm.
the rubble of all the other games that are probably similar to it, but probably not quite as good or unique as the fact that it has 24 engines and
Yeah.
Yeah.
has a comedy
Lots
influence.
of replay.
Yeah, lots of value for your money, which most gamers such as ourselves look for in games these days. Not a lot of us look for one and done experiences unless they're under like 20 quid. If you're looking to spend like a lot of money, you're looking for the value. But sometimes you'll find a game like such as Stories
Yeah.
for less than £15, and it gives you hundreds of hours worth of gameplay. So it's definitely worth
Well, that's
checking stuff out like that.
yeah, that's what drew me to it. It was just one of those games that, had I not heard about it myself, I wouldn't have got it. So it was like kind of word of mouth sort of thing, Like again, I think this game went under the radar when it first came out anyway. I mean, it does have very positive reviews, and most recently very positive reviews. There's been 18. Now, and that doesn't sound a lot of people do comment, but given that when it came out in 2016 and we're in 2022 now, so if 18 people have played it recently and they've given it very positive reviews compared to the 1,700, overall. So, you know, and like I said, these are just Steam reviews. These are not, and it's from players. It's not just from consoles as well. So, yeah, like I said, it probably went under the radar, but
Yeah, I
when
never heard of it,
yeah,
so
it's great. It's great indie gamers. You know, that's what I love. I do love an indie game. I
Yeah.
must
of
admit.
course.
Well, I
Gotta love
think
an indie
the
game.
quality of indie games right now surpasses most AAA experiences,
Yeah,
really, for the most
I
part, easily.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
There's
agree with
more
that.
love. There's more love in the indie industry in terms of development and enthusiasm than the old AAA turnout, same old monotonous crap year after year. Looking at Call of Duty as but yeah, that's an example of the brain monotonous stuff that you get from these AAA developers that could make excellent games and innovative games if they wanted to, but they don't because the indie developers are already beaten them to it, such as we get excellent experiences such as stories and not for broadcast. So
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know it's swings and roundabouts. But I think the year of AAA industry is declining in favour of the indie game developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
Speaking of indie titles, I'm going to move right along ahead and talk about an indie title that came out on the Game Pass, which will be a subject of Microsoft will be a subject a bit later on of some excellent news. But I'm going to be talking about Nobody Saves the World, and it came out on Game Pass the other day. We looked at this on a podcast a little while ago, and it is. I'm going to use my own gameplay footage because why not? And I've played it for about 4.5 hours, so that's my game time in it, and I did not like this game. It's not a bad game. So let me give you the premise. You play nobody. That's the name of your guy. Absolutely nobody. And you start off the game in a shed, naked, and that's about as much as I gathered from the story so far. No, but you basically you walk. It's very reminiscent of. Do you remember the old Zelda games on the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Remember how
Yeah.
the 2D
Yeah.
world? It's basically like a 2D world, 2.5D world. The gameplay reminded me of Zelda pretty much straight away in terms of if I go through this video here to get to the gameplay.
Mhm.
There we go. So there we go. So this for those that are listening, I've just clicked a video on my channel, but you're this little naked dude running around. The art style is really good. It's made by Jukebox Games. I think that's right. And they made Guacamelee 1 and 2, which were my favourite platformers of all time, and were amazing to play with my children. And I think this developer is pretty much in the same sort of family orientation development cycle, because this game is a good kids game. But that for me, that's where it ends. I found this game incredibly boring to play. A very monotonous grind, a very tedious droll through, and I did not enjoy my 4 hours. After I went back to it after I streamed it to give it another chance, because I felt like, oh, so many people are raving about this game. There must be more to it than doing the same dungeon over and over to grind experience, to level up your characters, only to have to start again on another character and then repeat said grind in whatever dungeon you've just cleared to then level him up to unlock the next one, and then rinse and repeat. That gameplay loop bored me silly. And you know when you're a young gamer and a youngster, you're not going to think about stuff like that. You're just going to play the game. You're just going to kill stuff and play it, which is fine. But for me, in an RPG, this is an RPG-like game, so it's not really an RPG as such. It's sort of a lot of elements from RPG, but not full on. And I expected this to be an RPG title, and I expected this to be a fantastic action roguelike experience. That's what the impression I got from the trailers, and not just single player though. The main draw to this for me was co-op, because it was advertised as a co-op game, and the co-op is one of the most lackluster add-ons in any video game I've ever seen, and this is why I have a problem with it. This is why I don't recommend Nobody Saves the World. The co-op game is that the second player has no impact on the game. You can't level up skills, you can't pick stuff. You're literally there just to help out player one. Now, in this day and age, in this world of gaming, there's no excuse for that. There should be player two should be able to come in, have their own skills, their own abilities, and should level up as they are. And then join your game with their character as and when, so you can carry on your adventure. Because you want to have your own progression, so you can take that progression to your single player game when you play it yourself. So you join in with your friends, and then you carry on with yourself when you're not playing the co-op campaign, which is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as a single player campaign. There's no separate campaign for the co-op. So the premise is you're this naked dude. He wakes up in a shed. You walk around. You go into this Nostradamus, or whatever his name is, wizard house. He's disappeared, and there's some dude called Randy, which I made the comment of Randy Andy because I thought it was funny, but
Uh-huh.
he's basically he's just there's no voice acting either. This guy is saying like it
Oh,
was
that's a
just like,
shame.
and I was just like, what? No voice acting?
Yeah.
Really? They all sounded like Sims underwater for the most part, and really badly. It's like when they talk and there's a line of dialogue, they just go. It's like,
Mm.
Yeah.
what? You're not really investing me in the world here when you're just making silly noises. I'm basically listening to my 6-year-old son talk at the moment. In the game, right?
Oh my.
Making silly sounds and stuff like that and stupid noises is basically what all these characters do. So it tries to convey a story, but I wasn't invested. I didn't care. I saw all this dialogue and I was reading it and I was just like, I don't care if he's not here. There's no setup. Because there's a lack of setup, it didn't invest me into the. I didn't know what I was getting into. There was no introduction to the world. There was no. It was like a fight, like a 30-second video explained very little about the world. And then you appear and you're naked in a shed, and then that he has no memory. So that's why you're nobody. So you can basically his power is
Okay.
he nicks the wand out of the missing wizard's drawer. Randy then chucks him down into a dungeon, and thus the game begins. You're stuck in the dungeon, and you have to get out of it. And I was wandering around this room, and I was like, "What have I got to do?" And like you have to. And then the most infuriating thing was that everything is done via a menu, so you have to constantly go in and out of a menu. There's no quick button. There's no quick select. It's like one and done menu, and you have to stop the game. It's just it found it very sort of breaking up the gameplay, especially when you need to chop and change um, personalities later on to do various things. It's not. It doesn't. For me, it didn't flow very well, and that is the same in co-op as well. You've got to stop the game and pick whatever, and it's just very like, oh really, and then it just becomes monotonously boring because I found myself looking at this menu and like this could just be a little, on the D-pad. You could just pick it on that,
Oh
or
yeah, yeah.
an option, a wheel to select from, and I just found it like it was going. I don't know. I know it was trying to emulate games of old, but it felt like I was going backwards in gameplay. It wasn't great. And the first thing you unlock is a rat, and that sounds fun. I want to be a rat. I want to be Splinter, but I'll settle for this rat, right? And he has one attack,
Okay.
and you hold down one button to attack. That is it.
Mm.
And you have your Y and your B attack, which do secondary moves based on whatever you've unlocked on said class. And that's it. That is your character. You have 3 or 4 abilities, at least to what I've unlocked in it, and then map to whatever button, and then you level those abilities up, going in and out of the menu all the time. Whenever you hit a quest XP mark, and you level up by quests are given to you for every character that you have. So the first 4 characters you have is a guard, a rat, a guard, an egg, right? An egg. It sounds funny, but it's not. And a ranger. That was the 4 classes I mucked about with, and got incredibly bored. Because once to unlock the class, you have to put an amount of grinding into this character, and this is where the grind is extremely frustrating because the gameplay is very hard to see where your character is on screen, and I find myself um, wondering what the hell was going on half the time because I didn't know where my character was. There's no visible marker when there's like 30, 40 enemies on the screen, and you have no idea where you are. You're this tiny little rat on a screen and there's like a bazillions of enemies and there's FX going everywhere. I died so many times because I didn't know where my character was. Because I just saw my HP just go. And I was
Is
like,
it a bullet hell game?
it's kind of like a bullet hell roguelike. Um,
Okay.
but your character has an attack radius of like 1 centimeter as a rat, so it's very hard to sort of negate where you're going to attack. And I didn't know where I was attacking half the time, and it only occurred to me halfway through the level I could actually poison them. And that's
Oh,
what
cool.
it didn't explain what I was doing. It just told me like a bit later on. Oh, by the way, this thing means you're poisoning them, and at maximum poison, they die. Like, so
Yep.
I spent forever just running around, hit and run, trying to kill enemies. I should have taken like seconds to kill, and I just found myself getting more and more bored because everything took so long to die. And that as if and then I found out, okay, I've got to grind his levels to make him stronger. No problem, don't mind that. Then I realised I had to do the beginner dungeon over and over again to get the XP to do the first mission. And at this point, I was just so bored because if the game's hook is to repeat said dungeon or dungeons over and over and over again, you've already lost me. Because if I have to grind from the get go, and you don't just naturally, because usually when most games like this, you'll progress normally, you do the tutorial level, you'll get your basic gear, your starter setup, and then you'll go off to the main game, and then you'll get to do the harder stuff, and then it'll say, right, if you want to do this, you've got to go back and go and do this dungeon or whatever again. But you've already made a little bit of progress, so you don't quite mind doing that. I just felt like I was stuck at the start of the game for quite some time. I went back and grinded it for another hour to be able to kill stuff easily, because I just felt the time to kill in the game itself was just too long. And it's not like Hades. Hades, you get strong. You start off like with your basic abilities, and you get stronger, and you absolutely annihilate stuff, and you feel that your character's progressing. Once you've reached a certain XP threshold, you then unlock a new class. The problem with that is your class is then level 1. I suppose your current rat, say for instance, I was level 8. Then I went from a level 8 to a level 1, and then I had to do the whole grind over again to get into level 8 to get to the same strength or a little bit stronger than where he was previously. Do you see my problem?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're resetting your progression for the sake of it, rather than it should just level up all your classes at the same time to reduce the amount of grind um, for the game itself. And I'm not saying it's not enjoyable. It's fun with your family or with your small kids. This game is for children. It's the target audience is the 7+, right? Who don't care about grinding and don't give a monkeys about any of that. And just play and just kill stuff. And
Mm.
that's all there is to it. There's nothing more to it than that.
Yep.
And for me, as a fan of the Guacamelee games, I expected more from this title. The lackluster co-op, the confusing characters on the screen when there's loads going on, you lose track of who you're playing as. The non-investment story, which I just didn't connect with. There is some humor in it. It does have some moments of humor, which is notorious in the jukebox games that they've done. The Guacamelee was filled with humor and fourth wall breaking. This game's the same. The art style is good, though. I will say that. The soundtrack is not the best, at least from what I could gather, but it's passable. Um, and it's a run of the mill average roguelike S kids game. There's nothing, and the people who are absolutely smitten with this game, fair enough, it's your opinion. Brilliant. I'm happy for you. If you find enjoyment in this game, fantastic. But don't make it out to be Game of the Year material when it's clearly not. There's loads of issues with this game, the pacing issues, like I said, the combat and the repetition, the lackluster co-op, which has no excuse to be lackluster, and it should have been better. It isn't a brilliant game, but it's a good kids game. I will say it's a good kids game, but it's not one of the best RPG games you can play compared to all of those that are available out there. And that's all I'm going to say on. Nobody wants to play this game. I mean, save the world.
Um, I just want to say that I've been playing a game called Arch Veil. Have you heard of that at all?
Yes,
Mm,
I have. Sort
Have
of. I
you
think.
seen
no, I
gameplay
haven't. Sorry.
or played it yourself?
I think I've seen it.
Okay. Well, I'm getting a lot of like similarities to Archvale, and I even though you said you don't like it, I'm still kind of want to play it and try it out. Um, just to see, like, for like, I just see if I like it myself or not. Because I have been playing a game called Archvale, and I kind of enjoy Archvale, and it's a bullet hell game, and the Nobody Saved the Worlds actually has some mechanics that I wish was in Archvale, and just that's kind of what I kind of thought when I was hearing you talk about it and watching some gameplay. Um, but I appreciate that you don't like it and stuff, and but I think I might try it myself, and yeah, what I mean, why not? It's on the Game Pass,
The
so
Game
why
Pass,
not?
yeah, there's no reason to try it out. And like I said, it's not a terrible game. It's not the
Yeah,
worst game in the world, but it's not. It just annoys me when people start flouting it as Game of the Year material. Looking at you, Skill Up, and
yeah.
who I had a discussion with on YouTube, and my comment was deleted. Not that I'm going to go into that, but it just annoys me when people start shouting from the rooftops. Yeah, okay, it is what it is. There's an old cliche: it's different horses with different courses.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people will like your stuff, some people won't. It's fine.
Was
We're
there
all entitled to agree and disagree. We don't have to start lighting each other on fire just because we don't like something you said.
exactly, yeah. Was there like bosses, or have you not
Yeah,
got that far yet?
it was just a bullet sponge. It was just a
Okay,
big. It was just there were just big variations of the things you've already fought.
okay, okay.
And it was funny. Some of the setup was funny, but again, it's just not my cup of tea. It really isn't for me. It's too time demanding.
Oh
When you
yeah,
when you
fair
when
enough.
you when you vary up how much time, time is money, and all that time is a precious resource in this world. We don't have an infinite supply of it, so when we're spending it on a game that demands a lot of it for very little reward, it's kind of like, at least in terms of a grown-up gamer, so to speak, kids won't give a monkeys. To be like, oh, rat
They'll
up
play
and bite
anything.
people on the arse. It's fun. It's fun for them, and I'm happy for them to have their little fun. It's no skin off my nose. I just expected better from the studio. I was just more angry about the crap co-op, to be honest. I expected, because Guacamelee is all about the co-op, and
Oh,
the
okay.
co-op is amazing in Guacamelee.
I understand
So
why you're upset then.
so for this game to be like, oh, co-op, we'll just stick that on there, or maybe no one will notice, and it's just
Yeah.
a very poor way of playing the game, considering like all the trailers I saw was co-op. Everything, even their own launch trailers advertised
I
co-op.
know. I remember we talked about that, and we were
Yeah.
Yeah,
like quite excited to see it,
and I
but
was like, I was looking forward to playing it. So I thought, this is fun. We can play it together, sort of thing, in our little community. Because I know it's only 2-player, but it still would have been a good laugh.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, it's fun for a little, because I played co-op with my 6-year-old boy, and he didn't like the game.
Oh wow. Okay,
He didn't
that's
like it. No, he didn't like the art style. It scared the living crap out of him. So
really okay.
yeah, he
Fair
doesn't
enough.
like the whole thing with black eyes. Every
Oh,
character's got black eyes. They all look weird.
I get
To be
that.
fair, I don't understand. Yeah, the art style is unique. It reminds me more of Ren and Stimpy, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy,
Yeah.
yeah, that sort of art style. It's really on the nose whether it should be for children or not. And the guy's he's naked. He's got a big white head. And he's got two massive black eyes,
Hmm.
and there's no pupils or nothing. It's just like, if you put a black background behind that, that is a horror character.
Oh.
It doesn't quite work for
Mm.
me in terms of the art aesthetic. But yeah, he didn't like the art style, so. He's a Mario nut, so he doesn't play nothing but Mario. But he tried it out with me anyway, and I had fun playing it with him until he got scared of the main character. So, because he wasn't really paying attention while I was a rat, but when he transformed into the nobody main guy, he ran out the room. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's like I said, it's a I've gone on about it too long now, but it's a passable kids game, and it should have been better co-op wise. It should have been. To quote myself, it should have been Game of the Year, but no, it wasn't. It's not. It's disappointing. It's
I know
disappointing.
you wanted it to be good because you're saying
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
really wanted it to, but it
Because I followed
didn't.
the developers for a long time as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's just like that game was also in development for 5 years.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
if 5 years to have co-op that bad, and
Yeah.
not even any voice acting, and not enough world building, and not enough for me as a RPG enthusiast, there just wasn't enough there to grab me. So it's yeah, I've said enough. Well, we all know.
No, I will just pick up on the fact that what you said about the game, and when we was all talking about it as games to look forward to for prior to a release and stuff, and even I think even I may have commented on the fact that it does look a lot like Don't Starve as well. It's got that same sort of style to it.
Yeah,
And
That what drew me towards it is like
yeah,
the graphic,
yeah. That's what
graphical.
I was
You know.
like you said, I was surprised that it was aimed at a much lower audience. Or would you say that that's what you are saying, isn't it? It's
yeah, that's what I'm
more.
saying. It's aimed at a
It's
much
aimed,
younger
yeah, yeah.
audience.
So
Yeah.
you are saying that it's a because looking at it, I think with something like Don't Starve, or even going back
Rising
to
of Isaac.
yeah, um, they're sort of more an older audience because of like
Teenage
how
plus,
teenage players
13 plus
because of
sort of
its
thing.
like its difficulty, on the fact that it's like a roguelike, a roguelite as well. So it's got that same
Yeah.
sort of like style to it. So you naturally was drawn towards that, like Enter the Gungeon sort of thing.
Yeah.
As well as another one that just came to mind.
I'm gonna be playing that at some point.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
into those games. I'm into those kind of games at the moment. I don't know why,
that is
but I'm
just
playing a lot of them right now.
yeah.
Enter the
But
Gungeon is so hard.
if this, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I can confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I won't stream that myself.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, just sort of like finish up. I was just gonna say, yeah. Surprised but like as you said, it's on Game Pass. It's probably not worth throwing out 17.54, even though that's actually got a 10% discount at the moment. But
Oh.
I think if that's 17.54, its original price was 19.
Not worth 20 quid.
14. Yeah,
Not
it's
even
not worth
close.
20 quid. Yeah,
No, not even close. Get
so
on Game Pass if you
playing
want to play
that,
it.
paying that when
I'd
it's
rather
free.
it be on the.
But
Sorry, I'm really
no,
sorry
it's
about
fine.
that. Like,
It's okay.
sometimes it-
I'm pretty much done. So yeah.
Okay,
But
no, I was just gonna say that I would prefer it to be on the Game Pass just so then people could try it out and know not to buy it, like put all their
yeah.
money into it, Like I kind of think it's good that it's on the Game Pass, but then yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah, the benefits of Game Pass is
Yeah,
soon it's going to be you're going to be you can't afford not to have Game Pass by the time real soon, which
yeah,
leads us neatly onto our main topic.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, let's get on to
Nice segue.
segue. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm getting quite good at this now. I should be a professional podcaster. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah. Well, wait, we're not professional already?
No,
You sure?
I never said
Oh, I am.
that.
I'm joking.
I'm going to get out of this hole before I end up living in it.
Who wants to start? Or should?
Go on. You can start.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
So
lead the way.
today, well, we're going to be talking about. I'm sure you have all heard about it. And there's mixed opinions. Some people think it's a good idea. Some people think it's a bad idea. But I'm sure we'll share our opinions in due time. So basically, Microsoft has gone and bought Activision Blizzard. And
dun.
and apparently it was a $70 billion deal that they made, and it's being talked about everywhere right now. Everyone is talking about it, and I want to know your guys' opinion. So who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Go on, really.
Go on.
Well, handing you that. I was handing it to. No,
Do you want me to go?
you talking
You wanna go?
about you. Sorry, I'll lead. I'll lead on from here.
Yeah, of course. I'll wait.
Yeah, no. As Beth said, everyone's talking about it. I heard about this because my manager in work told me about it, and he's not even a gamer. And he said,
Wow.
so he's like, "Have you heard this?" Like, now, obviously, he knows about gaming for him to be mentioning it to me because he knows that's my pastime and my hobby, or at least one of my hobbies. But yeah, he just said, "Look, have you seen this?" I was like, "No, this is the first time I've sort of read about it." So I think this is like Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not can't remember when it was now. It might have been even earlier in the week, but regardless, yeah, 70 billion, and Microsoft has just said, "Look, we're just going to buy that." It could actually be a good turning point to get rid of the trash that's we spoke about we spoke I mean we raged about on
Yeah, we
on at
yeah,
least one
yes.
occasion on
Multiple occasions.
multiple occasions
Multiple occasions.
on the the whole Bobby Kotick
Saga.
saga that
Yeah.
happened. Yeah, it does look like this is. I mean, every news feed I've looked at, it links to that. Like it's crazy. Like obviously World of Warcraft being their Blizzard's biggest game, being affected by will be affected by this. I mean, is it Philip Spencer who wants to bring? He's just wants to bring back games that he loved as a kid. It's like, so with that as an option, like
Yeah.
him as the he's the big chief at Microsoft. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
will say that like I got mixed feelings about this. Like I think it is, like you say, Steve, a good idea because it can, change Activision Blizzard as a studio and, get rid of all the, like you said, trash that is in there and bring in some, real passionate people and make it a safer work environment. But then I'm also kind of surprised that they kind of took Activision Blizzard on, because before they made, like, announced this, they were saying in the future we're gonna be really cautious about what we do with Activision Blizzard and stuff, and they were a bit like, we don't agree with Activision Blizzard, but now they've gone and bought them, and it's kind of like, ooh, that's kind of a little confusing because you were saying you see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
I know
it
exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
it just seemed a
Two-faced.
little weird.
Yeah.
Two-faced.
Yeah,
They were literally slating Activision. Phil Spencer was absolutely ripping apart Bobby
yeah,
Kotick.
yeah,
But in terms, it really wasn't about gaming. It was about the treatment of staff. What
yeah,
what Phil Spencer basically said. If you're going to do that stuff, we're not having nothing to do with you. You
yeah,
get your
yeah,
house in order, or we're done. That's basically what he said to him. So and then
yeah,
and then their value dived massively. That they
yeah.
went so cheap. So Microsoft have probably gone. You smell that? Smells like a bargain. So they just literally
Oh, yeah.
swooped in and bought it at their
That's the only
cheapest,
reason
and
why,
then
isn't it?
and then their stock has gone right back up because Microsoft have bought it. It's a smart decision
It
buying them
is,
out
yeah,
because they then Phil Spencer and his team take a look at corrupt Activision spastics and go, right, you twat, you twat, you twat, you twat, sing your hook. We'll get our own people in, just like they did to Blizzard. Activision did to Blizzard. They kicked out all the good people and put their twats in, and that's why we had all the problems they had because they had all their pigs and scumbags treating everyone like scum, especially
yeah.
unfortunately the female staff.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I know my language is quite colourful when talking about Activision. I do apologise.
Very
um,
colourful.
I just it angers me immensely when I think about all this. Being from personal experience, being a sort of not experienced. How can I word this without swearing my head off? Unfortunate behaviour in the workplace. Let's say that, and having to deal with it and the effects it has on people. It's just not. It wasn't a good look for them. But now they're all coming out smelling of roses, like, oh yeah, we're part of a Microsoft. Now we're going to be this. We're all about the gamers. We're all about the people. You know, conveniently sweeping under the rug what they done a few months ago. You know,
Yeah.
it. I get why people are angry and confused, and like you say, at the time it was one rule. One, it come across as he was just saying it was coming across a bit two-faced, but when you actually look into what he was talking about on the
I do
surface,
understand now, yeah.
below the surface, he was actually talking about the treatment of staff. So
Yeah.
it can be easily misconstrued that Xbox were, you know, slapping them around one hand, and then the next minute, oh, well, we've bought them up. It's going to be brilliant. Oh, happy days, aren't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I
I get
do
that exactly what you mean.
I I do realize that now that you've said that, that they've, because of how cheap they've become, they're like, they do see a bargain in that, and they're probably thinking, we can work on this and we can just build up, send our people in and all that. And I do think it's a good idea. And even though I was a bit confused and stuff about it, I do think it's a it's what's the saying? A turn in the right direction. I don't know if that's the saying, but it's a, I think, and I was just reading that article we were looking at, and they said when it's official, like the deal is shut and complete in 2023, they're going to be putting as many of Activision Blizzard's games on the Game Pass, which I think is pretty cool.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
So,
entire library of Activision's games is going to be on Game Pass day one, 2023, when the deal is
yeah,
done.
do you want to go
That's
and
like 40
um,
plus titles.
yeah.
So whether or not we'll get World of Warcraft
Well,
subscription included in that remains to be
that
seen.
yeah, I was going to mention there's a couple of things that are obviously going to be affected by it now, because it's articles that split off, that have branched off from this, just from this. One that I looked at was whether or not, because it's owned by Microsoft, Xbox, will PlayStation be allowed to be still part of like Call of Duty franchise, in terms of, will it just be one segment? I don't have the full thing in front of me, so apologies
They're,
for that.
they're
But
basically being non-exclusive. So
yeah,
everything,
they
yeah.
wanted,
I
yes,
can
yes,
tell you from the things I've read and their Twitter feeds, PlayStation and Xbox, there is not going to be exclusive
yes,
Call of Duty games for
yes, yeah, yeah,
Xbox. It is still going to be carrying on
yeah,
for
yeah,
the most of their titles that are now cross-play at the moment are still going to be on PlayStation. Xbox have said that they want to keep a working relationship with Sony, and they can't actually do that, because if they do that, then there's a law in America. It's called the trust law or something,
yeah,
and it stops basically corporations buying out competition. So if
yeah.
they basically turn around and say, "Well, you can't have it on, you can't have it in your console. It's not good enough. I'm gonna have it on my console." Yeah. Right? This it's basically that they can't do that. So Activision, Microsoft, Blizzard, well, whatever the conglomerate of Microsoft,
Yeah,
I basically turn around and said that no, they're going to honour their Sony agreements with Sony, and they will still have their Call of Duties, their Overwatches, the Diablos, and all that stuff. But those franchises aside, any new franchise that is made after these franchises will be Xbox exclusive. So, like anything that's brand new, say for instance, they bring back, I don't know, Space Invaders 2023 or something, and it's made by someone at Blizzard, and that'll be on the Xbox. It won't be on Sony's consoles. That's from what I can gather from what I've read and what I've seen and the videos I've watched on YouTube about it. That's how I can. That's what's going to be happening as far as I'm aware. But it's early days yet. The deal's not done. You know, stuff can
yeah,
change. Litigation can change. They can change their minds and whatever deals they want to do. It should be done by. I think it's March 2023. It should be completed by, maybe
yeah.
earlier. But that's where the Sony aren't going to miss out on games from Activision Blizzard. they're still going to have titles
Yeah, yeah.
from them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of
a
course.
lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just going to be all exclusive on Xbox now." And
Someone made sorry, go on.
no, 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 that's fine. Go on, you carry on.
No, someone made a joke of like saying that all Microsoft have to do now is buy Sony and they'll be on top of the world.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
They
It
legally can't.
is. No,
yeah.
They
it's
probably
gonna, we
would
can
get
only
sued.
Yeah.
speculate at this point because it's not even like you said. The deal. I think the deal should be ending. Yeah, June. I don't know. Yeah, June 30th. I think. 2023. But yeah, that's when it's all
Around
going.
around
Yeah.
summer
So yeah, it's gonna be like
area.
yeah. Because, like, as I was reading some of the articles, obviously, Activision's the CEO Bobby Kotick is reportedly planning to step down. I mean, I think he'll have to anyway. I
He's
think
not
they'll.
going to though, because
He's,
Well,
he is
he
stepping
was
down, but
he is
saying
stepping
he's
down. Yeah,
staying in the company.
but yeah,
yeah,
he's
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 going to
staying
staying
step
in
in
the
the
down.
comp.
company. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought he
Yeah,
was. He's very reluctant to step down. He was like, I thought he was like, I thought he was gonna say, I will only leave when the deal is complete, and I'm like, no, you should get out
just
now.
yeah,
It's,
go.
No one wants you there. Like, you're
it's,
toxic. You're terrible. Get out.
he's toxic. He's corrupt. He's a two-faced liar. And as long as a lot of the most of the big wigs in Activision Blizzard are scum. They're not nice people.
Yeah.
To be conveying what they did in that company and still walking around taking home their millions of pounds worth or dollars of paychecks when they don't deserve it, is downright mafia truancy. You know, they're literally just scum that do that, and I've got no reservations in calling them out on it because the ones that did all this are still there. You know,
Yeah.
the majority of the people that made their lives misery are still there. The majority of managers and supervisors that let all this stuff go on, guess what? They're still
Yeah.
there. You know, there's the roots of corruption and twattism in that company run deep, right? And until Microsoft actually owns this company and can then maybe start putting some pressure on Blizzard to get their house in order. Because Phil Spencer has already said he wants the Blizzard of old back. That was one of the main reasons why he wanted, Activision Blizzard under his umbrella, is to restore them to their former glory, and that is an admirable goal. But as with all evil, it never goes quietly. It will go.
No,
You will have to drag them out, kicking and screaming, by their
they're holding on.
by their testicles to
Oh
get them
my.
to get them out of there. Because I don't think grabbing them any other way is going to work.
No,
Yes,
yeah.
grab them where it hurts and put them where it hurts and stick them to this. So I'm going into a tangent again. I just can't stand them, honestly. I've got no contempt for anyone that treats anybody poorly and anyone evilly in the world, for no justifiable reason. Unless your life's in danger or you're out and out attacked for no reason, then you have every reason to be angry and
Find yourself.
defend yourself. But when it's just because you're female or you're male and they're just taking the absolute what name out of you for no reason whatsoever, it's pathetic. It's like being back at little school where the bullies are running around, but someone's made a bully in charge, they get away with it. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's not acceptable in this day and age, and the fact that it went on for so long, years and years and years and years,
Yeah.
and it only came about. I don't even know how it came to light. I think investigation by the Kotaku guy was and some other
I can't
people. I can't
I
remember
can't
how it
remember
came to
why.
light, but
But I'm glad it did because we can get
yeah,
that scum out of there.
exactly. And until that happens, it's always going to be a big question mark over this purchase. $70 billion for a
Yeah.
company that I would say isn't worth $70 billion. It doesn't just include obviously that's just the name of the company. The franchise is under its umbrella, and all the studios under its umbrella employ 10,000 people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of jobs. It's a lot of mouths to feed. A lot of that money, Candy Crush is worth quite a bit of that price.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
y-
point of view is that it is probably worth 70 billion, but
yeah,
the behind not business is it's not.
the ethical
But
value is $0.
yeah, 100%.
It's, but
Yeah, 0.
um, is that, go on,
Minus
mate.
10.
minus it.
They're in
Is it?
debt.
Yeah, D for
Yeah.
damaged goods. I mean, it's it's weird, isn't it? Who would have thought we'd be talking about Microsoft owning Blizzard and Activision after everything they said prior to this? You
Yeah.
know, this
No.
going back to what your point earlier, Beth, about them saying, if you actually look over all the things they said, right, not just about the staff, but about the company itself. He did actually, Phil Spencer. I can't get caught up right now because my browser's crashed. But
Huh.
I think he's quoted saying that he didn't want to have, he was going to cut ties of Activision while Bobby
Yeah.
Kotick's in charge.
Yeah.
And then a couple of months later, he's like, "I bought Activision. We love Bobby
It's
Kotick
so
and everyone there." It's like, what?
it's so confusing. It's almost like they Phil Spencer doesn't like what's happened to Activision Blizzard, and he's just like, okay, let's just buy it and let's take control.
Yeah,
Really,
let's sort it out.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. So which is
And
cool,
they
but
must have been talking about this before that happened. Surely, you don't just make a $70 purchase on a whim, do you? There's got to be
I,
months and months of
I
talking
wonder
about it.
if they were or not, because that's strange if that's the case. Because if they were talking about it beforehand, did they know about it before anyone
Yeah,
else?
yeah.
Like, and it's only just come to light. Like, that's an interesting one.
It
Yeah,
raises a lot. It raises a lot of questions.
it
You know,
does.
and it raises a lot of
If they
scenarios.
if they knew about it before, you know, maybe
It's
that's their plan all
It
along
would
is
have been.
to sort it out.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of
It,
questions.
it
Yeah.
would have been an interesting like fly on the wall moment when they're having those Zoom calls over like the COVID period, and like, oh, so what do you think this has happened? Because that's that. Like as Beth said, I think such. It just got to the point where I think someone wanted to step up or step into this situation and go, enough's enough. Like let's. All right, I don't want to have anything to do with Activision. Why don't I just buy both of them? Why don't I just
That's
buy it
I
and
don't
then
want anything to do with it, but I'm gonna buy it, so I'm associated with Activision.
yeah, but
Like if
associated
that's the
buying
mentality they got, then that's a weird mentality to have.
um
If they do,
yes, I yeah,
because
I just
they're gonna
yeah.
have the backlash of their stuff if it doesn't turn out right. If I hope they know what they're doing, because it might
I,
fail for them. You know what I mean?
well,
Like it might.
it I don't know if it will. I don't know. I think it
Do you
hopefully it's
think
a
it'll
good
succeed? Or you're not sure?
I'm not sure now. Do you know what? That we could ponder over this for some time, and it's until next year we will not fully get to know. Even next year we probably not fully get to know everything anyway. They're
That's
going to hold
true.
things back anyway. They're not going to
Definitely.
spill anything, are they? They're keeping. I think they're going to keep their cards very close to their chest.
Yeah.
On what was actually said and how it was said, and what they go from there. If all you can see really happening is obviously that means that they're going to take, they're going to say that they've got control. They're going to pay off. They're going to give golden handshakes to whoever they want to because they can afford. They've got $70 billion. I mean, what
Yeah.
that's kind of like you could do what you want. You could probably get
They
any
could
lot.
probably change the name if they wanted to. Could they? Could they change the
I
name?
think I don't know if they can. I'm not sure if they can. I'm not sure what the legal thing is on that. If
I'd be
there
curious
is,
to know what they
But
can and can't do.
you could do a fun little game out of that. Take Xbox, Activision, Blizzard, and King, and make an anagram of a new company name for them.
Yeah.
So that's a little challenge for you. Then
There you
let
go.
us know what you come up with. But yeah, I mean, it's all up in the air, isn't it, at the moment? It's so much going on, so much speculation, so many mixed reports, so many mixed feelings
It
about all of this.
is. It's again. You don't want to be taking hearsay
No,
on something like this. You can easily get drawn into a little bit of a hole, and
too late.
too late. We've done it. We've
we're
done it.
already in that
I'm
hole.
already there.
We're deep in the hole.
I'm 5 foot deep now. It's a bit late.
I'm so deep, Dad. I'm gonna push F. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Carry
Just
on thinking.
reset.
Reset. Let's go again.
Control Alt Delete
Delete. Yeah.
everything. Let's reset everything. Switching on and off again don't always work in this case. No,
Yeah, unfortunately.
it will be interesting to see how they progress, because like one of the things that I was looking at, because again it branches off from this because of the lawsuit that's currently raging between like the Fair Employment and Activision. Obviously that's going on.
Yeah.
It would be in. I was drawn towards this article of like so it's first years of World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion has come to a close, and despite promising to start, 2021 was far from a good year from Blizzard's MMO, and obviously the lawsuits kept going on, and they're just saying I think it has taken a knock-on effect from the community as a whole by being confusion, anger, and many cases decisions to stop playing the game entirely. So people have just given up on it and
People out boycotted them.
boycotted.
The
Yeah,
game.
I mean,
Yeah.
I am one of those.
Yeah, so
The
I
moment
boycotted it.
the
Yeah.
moment I read,
I haven't played any of their games for like months now.
I was looking forward to like Overwatch 2. I thought that might be. I played Overwatch quite a lot. I put lots of hours into Overwatch. Yeah, and as well as World of Warcraft. I didn't know about the lawsuits and stuff coming into the expansion. You know, I think if I did, I probably wouldn't have purchased the expansion. I would have just then stopped. It's only because we've done the podcast that I've given up on the whole. I've deleted everything off my hard drive as far as Blizzard's concerned, and said, "Look, I don't want nothing to do with you now." I was quite enjoying like Hearthstone. I thought Hearthstone was a great. It probably still is a good game, but the fact that it's associated with Blizzard, I wanted
No one
nothing to
wants
do
to
with it.
play
Yeah,
it.
so
No one
I
wants to touch
deleted
it.
everything to do with that. Just to get like you know, like I said, it
Yeah,
all
no,
comes
fair enough.
down to it all comes linked to that horrible thing that was mentioned. You know, with
Yeah.
what happened that we mentioned briefly. You know, it's just yeah. I can't. I don't. I don't want. To, I don't want. I don't want to continue talking about this
It's a
because I feel like
poison chalice, isn't it?
it
Oh,
It's a
is.
yes,
poison
fair.
chalice because
Yeah.
you can see the potential in the games, and I
Yeah.
think that's where Phil Spencer is where he's coming from. Is that you can see that the games there have potential to be better than they are, and Blizzard has lost so many staff members. You know,
Yeah.
despite all the stuff that's happened, even internal protests have not gone unnoticed, and they have lost so much talent. You know, and people were just working at Blizzard just to have it on their resume. You know, just being getting treated like crap and being underpaid. They're one of the lowest paying companies in terms of game development, which is ridiculous considering how much money they make.
Yeah.
And the stupid work hours and the stupid demands and the stupid unethical social demands and social hours and there's their staff living in their cars just so they because they can't afford to live where they are because it's just not acceptable in any way, shape, or form,
No.
and that is still going on. So
Yeah.
you can see how much of a good thing Microsoft buying Blizzard Activision is, but until Blizzard and Activision is turned inside out and the twats removed from the office and everyone given a proper pay improvement and quality of life improvement throughout the entire company and their social lives are improved as well. The staff that have put blood, sweat, and tears and sacrificed their soul to give us the games that we have. Because they have to be fair to the people there to endure all that and still give games that millions of people enjoy is a testament to the staff at Blizzard Activision, the ones that do the work, the ones that do all the grinding, the ones that put up with all that crap, the ones that endure all the slugging matches and all the rubbish, all the long working hours, all the stupid stuff that goes on there. Hats off to them because majority of people in that situation, if Blizzard didn't have the reputation they had, they would leave. And this would have come to a light a lot earlier than it did because it is primarily because of their reputation, and they were probably given so many. What's the legal term they give you have to sign something that you can't talk anymore about anything.
and
NDA,
MDA,
NDA,
yeah, I think, yeah,
something like
non-disclosure agreement or something.
non-disclosure agreement, NDA.
Yeah,
So they've probably made them all sign that, and then they had an expiry date on it. So I'm speculating here, but I'm gathering it's something along those lines. That's
yeah,
why it
yeah,
took so long for
just for
people to.
clarification, just like for context, we are talking about the Department of Fair Trade, Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
as with numerous complaints about unlawful harassment, discrimination, and relations at the company, which obviously they treated it as a bit of a frat boys, against harassment towards particularly women was
Yeah.
involved. To which point, must add again, it's just for clarification and what we're talking about here, to remind people listening. It was that there was at least one woman actually committed suicide over this as well.
Yeah.
Which
yes,
is very sad and
yes,
disgusting behaviour along. Who obviously it was all to down with Bobby Kotick, who's a complete scum, and he
Still there.
he's still there, yeah.
yeah.
But
It's
so
still there.
that's just for a bit of a clarification as to what we were talking about,
Yeah.
which happened.
And
Sorry, go on.
No,
no,
sorry, Steve.
I,
I
I
didn't interrupt. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
no,
Go on, Beth.
oh no, I was just gonna say to move on because it's
Yeah,
getting,
it's kind
you
of
know,
it's
it's
gonna, I know where it's going.
It's relevant because
It is.
it's they've bought Microsoft have bought this while it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
of course, yeah,
This lawsuit is still ongoing. The legal ramifications of this is still impactful on the company, and I think this is why the deal can't go through until next year. I think this is a big part of it, because you can't have too many big legal things going on at one time. And that I'm still thinking that I know they've tried to settle out of court. From one of the things I read, I don't know if that's true, and they were refused. The victims and the people that were involved said, "No, on your bike, we don't want your piddly amount." There's something like they offered them like 10 million, and they're like, "No, that's not enough for what you've been putting us through." So
yeah,
that's why the court is still ongoing. But I think Microsoft, I honestly think they've bought it at its low stock market value
of course, yeah,
for as a business point of call. And then they've gone, right, we'll wait for this to blow over, we'll wait for this to end, we'll have them in our umbrella, and then once we can get our claws into them, we can straighten them out. That's what I think Phil Spencer's team and himself are going to try and do. And it's just a bit hard to take on the nose. Just to sum up, I think how we're all feeling here is when you see
yeah,
the Phil Spencer and Tony all attacking Activision for their malpractices and their practices in their company, and then literally a couple of months later they're on a live talk show talking to each other on air and an American chat show. I can't remember what it was. Bobby Kotick and Phil Spencer are having a live video call to each other, and they're all pally wally, chummy wummy, and all laughs and smiles, and and they didn't even mention the lawsuit or anything like that. They didn't even come about, which I found would have been a good opportunity to get Phil Spencer's views on it and how he owns the company. I bet his views changed quite a bit now. His name's going to be under the umbrella. I think you'll find that
yeah, definitely,
they'll be changing their tune somewhat. But that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
a lot of people, like you said earlier, Beth, that are confused and what the heck is going on in this deal at the moment. And like Steve said earlier, it's not confirmed yet. It's still a lot to be a lot to go through, and it's not. Once it's confirmed, we'll know where we are, and all the speculation, all the hearsay, and all the pondering and the what ifs and all the other things that we've covered. So will be what's going on at the moment with the lawsuit will be over for the most part, and
yeah,
we'll have more information on what's happening, and we'll have a lot more to go on in the future. And like Steve said, they're keeping their cards close and maybe their enemies closer.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Like you
I'll write
pretty
it
much
down.
summed it up. So, um, shall we move on and I'll tell my joke of the week.
Yes, let's change the mood now.
Let's
So
change
for
the
Yes.
mood.
laughs.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I do
No,
apologise. It could get a little bit heated there. So
I knew
it can.
it's not like this on
We need-
on the Bits and Pieces podcast. We are usually barrel laughs, but when it gets to topics that are serious, I go full blown Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do. If
No,
anyone's
it's all
listening to
good.
me, like, can you shut 3D up? He just talks forever.
I have 2 jokes today. Just
Hey, double
just
whammy.
'cause I
Yay!
just 'cause I thought I saw them and I thought this is gonna be great. Okay. Well, I think it's gonna be great, but I don't know about you. Okay, so first joke. It's about alligators, just so you know, both of them. So the first one, why do alligators oh no, sorry, I messed it up. Sorry, messed it up. What do you call an that was the joke.
Hey,
No, okay, what do you call an alligator in a vest?
don't know.
An investigator. Ooh,
Hey.
Hey.
spicy. All right. And the next one, the last one. Why don't crocodiles like fast food?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Because they can't catch it. Hey,
Yay.
Hey.
hey,
Should
I'm
put
here.
them in a cracker.
Boy.
Yeah.
Let's get some bits and pieces cracker merch.
Yeah.
Festive.
Oh, yeah.
On the shelf in Tesco's about November
Yeah.
We,
time.
we should. Okay, merch idea. My face with a speech bubble with
Yeah.
jokes, different jokes, like on each
Pizza's joke.
one. There's different ones,
Yeah.
right? Saying my joke,
Yeah.
and a tumbleweed. A tumbleweed must be involved. I
Brilliant.
hope you like them.
Oh, thank you very much, Beth, for that. For both of those jokes, for this 2 jokes.
No worries.
Yay. That's a good way to
No
probably end it
worries.
there. Yeah, so we are going to wrap up now on the podcast. I think we might continue streaming, but I'm going to end the stream and then maybe restart if we're going to play anything afterwards. But anyway, the podcast has come to an end. It's just that time when we're just going to give some socials as to who we are and where you can find us. So, Beth, do you want to go first?
Sure. So, I will be streaming on the 25th, which is when's that? That is a Tuesday. I'll be streaming. I'm probably gonna play the whole not for broadcast game. I'm gonna play the whole thing through, and because you can finish it in a couple of hours depending how good you are at the game. So I'm gonna be playing that to celebrate its release. Its full release. You can find me on Pizza Beth on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter, Pizza Beth, and I look forward to seeing you there. And yeah, thank you.
Nice. And 3D.
Yeah. You'll find me at twitch.tv. 3D show. I'll be streaming as well on Tuesday. I'm carrying on with my God of Boy playthrough. I'm also going to be streaming on Thursday. Probably still God of Boy. Just going to try and get the game completed. But I also will announce that on my YouTube channel, you will find a new horror trailer out for a short film I'm working on, based on the Mandela catalogue. It's going to be a short movie based on that premise of horror, and it's the movie, when I've finished it, will be a live action movie, and it'll be my first adventure into movie making. So I hope you'll support me on that venture. And that's it for me.
Go look forward to
Awesome.
actually clicking over to there. Don't click just yet though. You can
Yeah, not
afterwards. You
yet.
can if
Wait.
you want. I don't care. I will be streaming
Don't go.
this weekend, probably tomorrow night. I have managed to acquire a Monday off, so I will be. I've got a long weekend.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
nice.
I will
More
be around.
games.
More games from me on Monday. So, and otherwise,
Nice.
I will be back again with the Bits and Pieces podcast again with my 2 co-hosts, 3D Show and Pizza
Whee!
Beth, and we will be
Woo.
joined by our very special guest.
Oh,
Who
can't wait.
is our first guest of the podcast, and if you'd like to join as a guest,
Very excited.
feel free to drop us a line. Just get in contact with one of us, either of us, anyone who's watching. You can actually, we've got our we're all on Twitches, and
Twitter.
Discords, and anywhere else like that. So if you do want to join, let us know. And you could be a guest as well. So yeah, join us again next week, next Saturday at 9, live on twitch.tv/funnybitsboy or twitch.tv Freddy Show. And if Beth streams as well, it'll be twitch.tv/Pizza Beth.
Yeah.
You can also listen to us on the iTunes, on Spotify, on Amazon Music, Audible, we're on SoundCloud, we're on most places now. We're trying to get as many podcast areas as we can. So yeah, thanks again for listening, and we will see you again next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I do it too early.